At its core, DDC is built on a simple premise. Two disks are in play at the same time. That condition shapes everything about play: positioning, communication, anticipation, and decision making under uncertainty. Most disc sports revolve around possession. DDC revolves around pressure. When one team attacks by sending both disks toward the same court, the defending team must respond immediately and in coordination. If they manage the attack cleanly, they have a brief chance to reverse the pressure. This is one of the defining skills of the sport. An escape is not just defensive survival. When executed well, it's frequently followed by a counterattack, particularly if the escaping team ends up holding the yellow disc. Initiative can change quickly. Few sports produce this kind of quick tactical swing. Because of this, the most engaging rallies are not necessarily the longest ones, but ones where teams are forced to manage risk, make quick decisions, communicate clearly, and act. Escaping an attack requires more than quick hands. Teammates must instantly decide and communicate which disc to play first, while maintaining awareness of the second disc and each other's positioning. The stakes are high. If both defenders touch the discs at the same time, the attacking team is awarded 2 points. That risk forces coordination. Hesitation or miscommunication is often punished immediately. For new players, learning to escape is the fastest way to understand the game. It teaches spacing, communication, timing, and shared decision making. The core competencies that allow players to advance. A format that produces more escape attempts therefore produces more opportunities to practice the sport's most important skill. Classic DDC has benefited from decades of stability. Its rules are well tested, and they continue to support high-level competition. At advanced levels, however, players naturally optimize toward lower-risk strategies. This tendency is most visible during impasses, when both teams are holding a disc and play must restart. Under classic rules, the team that scored the previous point is responsible for initiating the restart, and that responsibility does not change during the rally. The predictable response is to initiate safely. Deep throws carry less risk than aggressive ones, and rallies can settle into extended exchanges that emphasize control rather than initiative. These rallies demand skill, but they do not always generate many attacks. When attacks are less frequent, escapes are as well, and the game can drift away from the moments that best express its uniqueness. Escape keeps the structure of DDC intact, while adjusting two conditions that influence how rallies develop. It uses one red disc and one yellow disc. Experienced players generally track both without difficulty, but the color difference makes responsibility immediately clear. Everyone can see which team holds the disc that must restart play. For spectators, this clarity makes the flow of the point easier to follow. Escape requires the team holding the yellow disc to initiate play at an impasse, regardless of which team scored previously. Because possession can change during a rally, the obligation to initiate can shift as well. Initiative is dynamic rather than fixed. This has practical consequences. Teams cannot rely on the same side restarting play. Safe positioning is harder to preserve. Attacks arise from less than perfect setups, and escape opportunities increase. Suboptimal attacks create openings. When attacks occur more often, teams must repeatedly manage risk and make decisions under pressure. The game becomes more active. Games were analyzed using a simple measure of activity: the number of attacks divided by total points scored. Escape produced 15% more attacks per point, or about one additional attack every 7 points. When responsibility to initiate can shift during a rally, attacks occur more often. More attacks lead to more escape attempts, and more escapes produce the tactical reversals that define the sport. DDC has evolved through adjustments rather than wholesale redesign. Partnership play expanded strategy, governing associations standardized competition, and international governance stabilized the rules. Escape fits within this tradition. It tweaks an incentive structure that shapes how rallies unfold, encouraging the kind of play that many players enjoy watching and need for faster skill development. The underlying game remains unchanged. Two discs are still in play. Teams are still required to communicate, manage risk, and make decisions under pressure. What changes is how often those defining moments occur. Escape creates more opportunities for the skills that already define it: attacks that demand coordination, escapes that require trust, and rallies where initiative can change quickly. For players learning the game and for those watching it, that brings the sport closer to its essential character.